That's it, sweetheart. A few more weeks of this, and you'll be on the red meat, grow up big and strong. It seems to work well for these boys. Hello and welcome from the Sundown Lion Park in South Africa for Heat 3 of World's Strongest Man 2010. We're just a few miles down the road from Sun City, which is a magnet for gamblers from all over the country, indeed all over the world. But to be able to pick the two finalists from this group, well, you'd have to be a pretty astute punter. Lalas, Katona, Kulaga, Ilin and Ortmeyer. Names to strike fear into any strongman. But these are the men that England's Darren Sadler will need to beat if he is to fulfil his dream of reaching the final of World's Strongest Man. The smallest man in the field is in the shape of his life coming into these finals, but there's no doubting the quality of the opposition. Darren Sadler has a real scrap on his hands in Heat 3, but there'll be plenty of events that will suit the smallest man in the field. So the gym owner from Boroughbridge in Yorkshire will be his usual confident self. First up for him and the rest of the athletes is the medley. Let's head over to the spectacular surroundings of Sun City and join your commentators Colin Bryce and first Paul Dickinson.
So here we go with the very first event, the medley. Always a big favourite in World's Strongest Man. Beautiful Sun City resort in the background there. 75 seconds the time limit. This pair of anvils have got to be carried 20 metres and the giant tyre has then got to be flipped over the line.
Konstantin Ilin from the Ukraine.
Ilin of the Ukraine, big solid citizen. His second time in World's Strongest Man.
In lane 2 from the UK, Darren Sadler.
The former lightweight Darren Sadler, now bristling with muscles from Boroughbridge in England.
In lane 3 from
Janusz Kulaga. New name from Poland. I wonder if he's got what it takes to become the World's Strongest Man. The start so crucial. You've got to have a solid grip, and Darren Sadler is away and running. And so is the pole. Oh, superb speed from all of the guys. Over the line, then back for the tyre. Darren Sadler's been in great shape here. Oh, my goodness, what has happened?
Well, he's grabbing his bicep. I wonder whether he's torn it. We've seen it so often in strongman. It's a weak muscle, and he walks off. Kulaga then in the lead here. Ilin's got a good chance to catch him because Kulaga seems a little out of control with his tyre.
Well, Kulaga got off to a great start with the anvil. Ilin struggling to get that tyre over. I mean, those tyres just tower over the competitors themselves. There's just a bit of reflection there on Darren Sadler. That would be desperately bad luck if he's out of the competition totally.
12 months worth of build-up for Sadler. Let's just hope it's not torn off the bone. Let's hope it's not surgery. But it must be bad enough if he's given up. Kulaga, the pole, in the lead here. Ilin, you have to remember, we are at 1,000 metres here. He seems somewhat exhausted.
Yeah, well over 3,000 feet altitude, and that is taking its toll. Both of the guys here struggling, so the number of flips will count as their final score. There you have it. 5 flips for Janusz Kulaga of Poland in the maximum time allowable. And Ilin of Ukraine, he only gets 3. That will struggle to make big points. Darren Sadler being looked at by the physio. Desperately bad luck for the Yorkshireman.
He was going so quick, he just tore it off the ground with his arms. Maybe just too much stress, and look at that. Definitely looks like he's got some kind of spasm or a tear in his bicep.
In lane 1 from Serbia,
next heat,
Ervin Katona.
One of only a very few Serbians we've ever seen in strongman competition, Ervin Katona.
In lane 2 from
next
the
to him,
USA,
the giant Travis Ortmeyer of the United States. 5th place he finished in 2 World's Strongest Man finals.
In lane 3 from Lithuania, Vytautas
and Vytautas Lalas of Lithuania. Very short, very stocky, incredibly powerful. Well, we saw what happened to Darren Sadler in that first heat. We certainly don't want to repeat here.
Ready?
And away we go. Remember, it's Janusz Kulaga of Poland in the lead at the moment with 5 flips of that giant tyre. And all of them virtually crossing the line at the same time. This is looking good.
Well, we've never seen Vytautas Lalas at World's Strongest Man before, but I can confirm this man is jet-propelled when he wants to be. He's taking things a little slow here, perhaps nerves at his first major competition. As for Ortmeier, though, he's giving it some. He knows he's got to get good points early, Ortmeier.
Well, I guess when you've got the credentials of coming here as one of America's strongest men, you've got to be a contender, haven't you, Colin?
Almost certainly. Ortmeier's got to be looking for a podium this year, something that's eluded him in the past, but he's got to get past these two guys. Katona is monstrously strong, especially at static stuff. And this man on the left here, Vytautas Lalas, he's a bit of an unknown quantity, but I've seen him in Poland, and he was awesome.
Well, no doubt about the leader at the minute, Travis Ortmeier, the first man to finish. And that is just outside 65 seconds. Who's going to finish in second? It's just Erwin Katona on the far side. Just outside 1 minute 13, just inside the time limit, but that is good enough for second place. And poor old Lalas there, the Lithuanian. Not bad though, 6 flips, and that will get him third.
It's hard to breathe here.
Travis complaining about the altitude. So difficult to breathe here, that's what he's saying.
Well, Ortmeier comes from Houston, Texas. Not many mountains around there, so no altitude training for him, but he is in ripped, great condition.
Well, congratulations to Travis Ortmeier and Erwin Katona, but the news all English fans dreaded is that Darren Sadler has torn a biceps tendon in the very first event.
Darren, it's such a crying shame. You're out of World's Strongest Man 2010. I can't imagine how you must be feeling.
I'm gutted, really. I mean, I was in the best shape I've ever been in. Good events for me. This was the year I thought I was in the final, you know, but one of those things, it's the sport that we do, you know, it's tough. Just need some rest now and back next year.
How long is it going to take to repair and fix itself so you can get back into training for next year?
It would take a couple of months, I would imagine, to get it right. But as I say, you know, I'm gutted about it, but it's a tough sport, you know, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Darren, you're gutted, I'm gutted, and I'm sure everyone at home in the UK is gutted. Good luck, and we will see you back next year, I'm sure.
Definitely. OK, thanks.
Devastating news for the Englishman, but the show goes on. After the break, it's a World's Strongest Man classic as our athletes pull a 20-ton truck. Now, they say you should never work with children or animals. Fortunately, Shawu here is a lot easier to control than playful lion cubs. Welcome back to South Africa, where the sad news is that Darren Sadler, having torn his bicep in the first event, is already on a plane home. He obviously misses the next event, which really separates the men from the boys. And it's generally the very big men who come out on top. It's a World's Strongest Man classic. It's the truck pull.
It certainly is a classic, and this is one the crowd will enjoy. And they will wonder in awe as to how anybody can pull that 20-ton truck down the course of 20 metres in the fastest time. The time limit, as always, 75 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Lithuania, Vytautas Lalas.
Lalas once again, third place on that first event, despite the fact he didn't finish the course. You ready? And you would have heard Travis Ortmeier say at the end of event 1, well, the breathing was difficult. Well, I'll tell you what, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is going to be gut-wrenching. Very, very hard on the lower back, the legs and the arms as well. And getting a grip on the ground is going to be tough too.
He hasn't done that many competitions, certainly not any internationals, so I don't suppose he's done too much truck pulling in his career. So this is a difficult event for Vytautas Lalas. Technique pretty much spot on though, and now he's over that initial little hill at the start. It's starting to roll. He's over the initial inertia. It's coming at him.
And now he's got to make sure he can do, Colin, is keep the momentum going. If you slide to a halt, well, getting it started again would be very, very difficult indeed. And there comes a point round about here where you just feel as though you're walking around in porridge. The legs turn to jelly, but he's going well, isn't he?
Oh, he's going very well here. He's going to do this. 1 minute 15 is the time limit, and just to complete it is something.
So the front tyres coming up to the line. The bumper has to cross the line, and there you have it, just outside 70 seconds. Not bad at all for Vytautas Lalas of Lithuania, continuing in good shape.
Well, he completed it, but what a difficult start this is, over that little mound at about the 1 metre mark. Luckily, he dug in and got through it.
Ladies and gentlemen from Serbia, Ervin Katona.
So Katona in second place after that first event, which of course was won by Travis Ortmeyer.
Okay, Owen, take the
We'll
strain.
have thumbs up at the end of this. It's not very far, but it is utterly grueling. And as Colin was saying earlier, to get this moving in the first place, just to get a bit of momentum on the lorry, you've got to put in maximum effort, and then you've got to pull it even more towards the finish.
He's so strong in the upper body. Look at this. He's trying to pull it with his arms alone. He's so powerful. He's one of the world's best bench pressers. His legs aren't too thin either, are they? Look at this. Now it's moving. He's going to beat Lalas here if he keeps this up.
Tell you what, I bet he could be a great prop forward in rugby. Tremendous power. Driving on. He's past the 15-metre mark. He's got less than 4 metres to go. 3 metres, 2 metres, 1 metre towards the finish, but then the lorry's got to keep rumbling on. This is a fantastic time. 52.16. Wow. He really has put himself in the frame here. We saw thumbs up at the beginning. We've got it at the end, and quite justly so.
I actually think he made a mistake there, Paul. At the start, he used his arms so much, he almost fatigued them and then threw the rope away at the end, and the truck started to grind to a halt. He lost a couple of seconds there.
Ervin, well done. 52 seconds leading in the group so far. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm very happy. It's good events for me, but this year I lose 10 kilo my body weight, and I'm afraid about this, but actually it's not a problem. That's good.
So how do you think the rest of the athletes will fare against that? Do you think you'll maintain the lead?
I think maybe it's enough for the first place, but if not second, I think second place it will be okay also.
It will certainly take some performance to beat it. 52.16. We saw Lalas as well, just over 70 seconds. Kulaga and Ilin, neither of them finished the course. Only Travis Ortmeyer to go now. The American really on song after that first event. The advantage here, he's got his own mini fan club in Sun City watching him. That will be a great help.
Basically, I get paid to work out in other countries. I love traveling, and I love competing, and I love working out. And this is all three of them combined. And then these guys that I compete with are such a great group of people. I named my son after Mikhail Kuklayev from Russia. Meeting him on the circuit, he's become my best friend. I think it would mean everything winning the title this year. With my wife and son watching, he's just old enough, he really starts to pay attention to the events, and he's starting to watch. And you could just see the excitement in his face. To beat the defending champ, Zydrunas, it's going to take a tremendous feat. That is one of the fastest 400-pound men I've ever seen in my entire life. So if you beat him, you truly are the world's strongest man. No doubt about it.
Ladies and gentlemen from the USA.
So let's see how this big American goes here. And you know, Colin, we were wondering how some of these guys train for this event. Apparently this guy has a truck at home.
Okay, Travis,
he's got his dad driving it, and he trains with it with the brakes on. That's a bit cruel from his father, isn't it?
Well, his father just loves this sport. He's so proud of Travis. The two of them train together all the time. He's very much Travis's coach. And yeah, you have to cook up some crazy ideas in strongman to get these type of events trained. Oh, he's digging in with two-footed pulls. He's got to get it over that first little hill. Muscles bulging, and I think he's done it. Now it should come.
Well, you'd hope so. He put a fantastic amount of effort into what? The first 2 or 3 meters of the course. But that is the result. He's got momentum here. And let's not forget the fantastic time by Katona. 52.16. And the clock is ticking away. Jim Pollock, the great Scotsman, the great veteran of strongmen competitions in terms of the organisation, he's driving this. He's got a rear view of this fella, Ortmeyer, and he will see the American is now beginning to slow a bit.
Yeah, Ortmeyer had to give so much at the start there. And you know what? He's given up a lot of body weight as well. He's come in so lean. He's dieted so hard here to try and get in shape for the altitude. And it's actually cost him in the truck pull. He's got no body weight.
Well, the clock stops 66.19. That's just ahead of Lalas of Lithuania. But no doubt about the winner, Ervin Katona, an extraordinary time of just outside 52 seconds.
You can never accuse Travis Ortmeyer of not trying. Look at the determination in his face. He wanted that. He needs it.
There is the winner, though, Ervin Katona of Serbia, and that will give him huge confidence.
What a performance from Katona, the only man to go sub 1 minute and beating a very accomplished truck puller in Travis Ortmeyer along the way. Vytautas Lalas will be happy with his time on debut. It's all square at the top of the table, but solid performances from the Lithuanian have put him within touching distance of the qualifying places. Can he continue to put pressure on the leaders in the event? It's one that's proved to be one of the toughest tests at this year's finals. Stand by for the power stairs.
We're in the amphitheatre once more, the scene of many great World's Strongest Man competitions in the past, and this is for the power stairs. Ilin of the Ukraine was first up, but he only managed 8 stairs. Maximum time limit, as always, 75 seconds. Not a great performance by the Ukrainian. Along came Lalas, trying to beat that, trying to beat everybody, trying to beat the hill. But he managed 10, 2 below the top level, again in the maximum time allowable.
And in lane 1,
so Janusz Kulaga now, in 4th place after the first 2 events. And this is a point in the competition where everybody must make a move to carry this 225 kilo weight up the 12 steps in the maximum time allowable. Well, we haven't had anybody carry it so far this time. And of course, because Darren Sadler withdrew after that first event because of his injury, this guy is having to go it alone. And it's hard.
No, it doesn't make it easy. But it does remind me of Pudzianowski when he came to Sun City in his first go and he flew up the power stairs. Kulaga, a lot of people have talked about him as the new Pudzianowski. He has a very similar physique. He's very athletic. Though it has to be said, he's not quite as muscular as Pudzianowski was. Though that, I'm sure, will come with time.
Hey, it's amazing. You know, some of the older guys in this competition seem to do better purely because of experience. It's not a weightlifting competition, it's a combination of all sorts of movements. You really have got to be a tremendous all-round athlete to complete all these tasks.
Well, a bit like Pudzianowski, he doesn't miss a trick. He's wearing boots with quite high heels on, trying to sneak an extra inch in there. Good for him. He's managed to get those into the contest. He's got to be careful, though. He's going to go out of the lane here.
He's just sneaking inside. It's got to go beyond that white line. There it goes. The clock stops. 61.77 seconds. Pretty good. The first man to complete the course. Good effort.
I'm sure he'll be absolutely thrilled with that. To beat the likes of Lalas in this event is very solid. No one to run with him either. It makes it more difficult.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, from in lane 1.
This is going to be interesting. The joint leaders head-to-head now. Ervin Katona. The Serbians must be very proud of what he's achieved so far, along with Travis Ortmeyer. Never lacks confidence. And I wonder who can just nip ahead after this third event. Just a little bit of a psychological battle going on here, I guess. Who's your money on, Colin?
Well, it would have to be on Travis Ortmeyer. He's 6'4". He's got at least 2 inches in height on the Serbian. But a stumble there. And they'll be looking at each other, you know. They'll be glancing across. Very neck and neck, this.
A little bit of a swing there by Ortmeyer. Look at that. A lot of the guys get it up on the step, then move it closer. Ortmeyer is just trying to swing it forward. But look at this. Ervin Katona is creeping up on him. Ortmeyer made a mistake on the last step. They're within 2 of the top. Now, who's going to get it? Ortmeyer just over first. Running up to 40 seconds now. Ortmeyer struggling.
Well, they both have loads of time. 2 big mistakes from Ortmeyer have really cost him. Just slow and steady, Katona.
Oh, Katona's going well, isn't he? He's timed it beautifully. Onto the top. Beyond the line. I'll tell you what, he's won it. Superb. Just outside 61 seconds. And Travis Ortmeyer, a little bit of a chink in his armour here.
5 seconds.
He's just got to go for this. Oh, no, he knows he can't do it now. That'll be really upsetting.
Irving Katona wins it. Superb. Woo! Travis Ortmeyer, I think as much a combination of running out of oxygen there. He looks absolutely shattered.
Well, I just thought he was a bit wild, a bit erratic at times there. A couple of stumbles, a couple of mistakes, and they really cost Ortmeyer. I think he should have won that. But you've only got a certain amount of energy, and it was the Serbian who was more efficient.
Another very impressive performance from the Serb in this most grueling of events. He and debutant Janos Kulaga are the only men to make it all the way to the top of the power stairs. That means there is clear daylight between Katona and Ortmeyer after 3 events. It's now the turn of another newcomer, the Pole Kulaga, to put pressure on the top 2. Well, not many people would have bet against Travis Ortmeyer in the truck pull, so congratulations have to go to Serbia's Irving Katona. Now, coming up after the break are 2 more soul-destroying events. First is the classic deadlift, and then an event which caused chaos at last year's finals. And I have no idea why. It's just a dumbbell, and you lift it above your head as many times as you can. But it weighs 15 stones. See you after the break. Welcome back to Sun City, South Africa, where the big news for English fans is that Darren Sadler has had to withdraw from the competition after just 1 event with a torn biceps tendon. 450 kilos of tyre, a painful snap, and the Englishman left devastated. It was the American Travis Ortmeyer who made the most of that misfortune, taking maximum points from the opening event. Irving Katona then went into overdrive in the truck pull, the Serbian the only man to set a sub-1 minute time. And he continued that fine form in the most grueling event at these championships, the power stairs, to move ahead of Travis Ortmeyer on the leaderboard. There's a 2-point gap at the top, and the American has looked a little shaky in the last 2 events. Can he get back on track in the deadlift?
Certainly the deadlift could be a turning point in this competition. It's event 4, the familiar equipment, the heaviest we've ever seen in a heat of World's Strongest Man, a massive 345 kilograms.
From Serbia, Irving Katona.
Katona's adventure into deadlifting about to begin, and significant. He's now got a 2-point lead over the American Travis Ortmeyer. That could be just a little psychological edge this guy needs. Solid start.
Down. Lift. Well, he gets the first one up with a little shake in the middle, but now he's into his groove. He's a good power lifter, we know that, so this is the kind of event he enjoys. Down. Up goes number 4. Very solid from the Serbian. 7 or 8 would be a massive result here.
It certainly would. Just trying to get those thighs almost parallel to the ground. A lot of the guys virtually use nothing but their back to do this. But this is good technique by Katona. 7 reps is pretty good. Just blowing hard now, though. The lack of oxygen in the air taking its toll. Can he do 1 more?
I think he can, yeah. If he just jerks it up his thighs, yes, he does. I don't think there's any more in the bank, though. That's it. 8 reps.
Certainly beginning to look more and more confident here. Katona, oh my goodness, he's got a problem. I think he's ripped some of the calluses off his hands, and that could give him real problems later on.
especially for a man who's looking for a place in the final. And I think he'll do that. That 8th rep, very good lifting.
Not just good, absolutely superb.
Travis Ortmeyer.
Well, that is what Travis Ortmeyer has to follow in second place. And you can tell he really wants this now. Slight problem with Katona's hands, we know that.
Hey, are you ready, Travis?
Now, is Ortmeyer ready to produce a fantastic effort here? He says yes. Here we go.
Down. Lift. Ripping the first two up well. He's known for having good back strength, much more so than leg strength. So this is a good static event for him. Long arms. Up goes number 4. I don't think he'll do 8, though. Not at this pace.
He certainly is very tall and lean as well. And that, for this event, could be a disadvantage, although we have seen some very tall men in the past. Guys like Mark Felix of England be absolutely phenomenal deadlifters. But this, I don't think, is on Ortmeyer's radar. Now, is he going to do any more?
Well, you just wonder whether Ortmeyer has lost too much weight, whether his tactics in training of getting super lean were the right ones to do. 4 reps there, currently in second place. But look at his face, he's disappointed, Paul.
Well, he certainly is. He got the first couple up okay, struggled with the third. The fourth, well, looked agony, couldn't do the 5th. Disappointment for the American. The calm before the storm for Vytautas Lalas of Lithuania. He knows exactly what he's got to do now to win this one. Well, previously, we saw some pretty useful performances from, first of all, Kulaga of Poland, 4 repetitions. One of his best performances so far. And then along came the Ukrainian, Ilin. He managed 5, so was ahead of the pole. There we have it, the situation so far, but Katona leading by a country mile, 8 repetitions, 3 ahead of his nearest rival. And that's what Vytautas Lalas has to beat. This guy spends most of his life in Ireland these days, but he comes from a country which has produced some incredible strongmen in the past.
Being here means a lot to me because I can show myself to the world. I'm not really intimidated because I compete with the best. I compete in Lithuania with Žydrūnas Savickas, so that's the biggest strongman, in my opinion, ever. People in Lithuania are not expecting big things from me in this competition. Well, in the future, maybe, yeah. If I can qualify for the finals, I'll be very happy with that. That's my goal, more or less.
From Lithuania, Vytautas Lalas.
So Lalas, 8 reps to beat, and that lead being held by Ervin Katona, the overall leader. After 3 events, there he is, just waiting and watching and pondering what this guy can do. It's interesting, Colin, that most of these guys know exactly what each other's strengths are. And I just get the feeling that Katona may be a bit worried here.
Well, I would be worried. Look how quick he's done those first 5. Incredible strength for a first-timer at World's Strongest Man. 1 more to equal Katona.
Oh, that was superb. Looked relatively easy, just wants to compose himself now. He's got acres of time left on the clock. So 1 more for maximum points for Lithuania. Here we go, above the knee. He's got to squeeze it out and then remain stationary. He's got it. That is the victory he wanted. That moves him up the table. And Katona there has to settle for second place. Brilliant stuff.
It's okay.
But he just squeezed it in. I don't think he had any more in him. If it was another kilo heavier, he wouldn't have got that last lift. Very explosive athlete, drove it as hard as he could, but he made it.
9 reps, Vytas, an amazing celebration there at the end. How pleased are you to have won an event at your first World Strongman?
I'm very happy. I needed to get points and I needed to win, so I put all my strength into it and I won.
And how are you feeling now about the rest of the events?
They actually will be okay for me. The next event is dumbbell press. I like dumbbell press, so hopefully I'll get a good few points out there. And maybe I'll make the final.
Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, maybe Vytautas. The Dublin doorman looked extremely powerful in pulling 9 reps, but Travis Ortmeyer is really struggling at the moment. The American only has a half-point advantage over the newcomer and appears to be going backwards here in Sun City. The climax of Heat 3 is going to be very, very interesting. The pride of Texas will have to up his game significantly if he's to hold off this very talented newcomer. But it's not going to get any easier for Travis Ortmeyer in the dumbbell press.
Thank you, Martin. This enormous lump of metal weighs 95 kilograms. That's 15 stones in old money. Now, we've only ever seen this event once before in World's Strongest Man 2009, where very few of our athletes were able to deal with it. So, Bill, what is it about the dumbbell that makes it so awkward? Is it the size? Is it the weight?
Well, Zoe, really it is the combination. The handle is big. It's going to take two hands to get it to the shoulder. At this kind of weight, 95 kilos, it's so awkward with its size, it's cumbersome, it's bearing down on the shoulder. It's going to take tremendous strength in the shoulder and the arm, and a lot of control with just one hand on that big handle to ram it overhead and hold it. That's the difficult part at the top.
So it's all about beating that dumbbell and the clock. Okay, good luck to all our athletes.
Well, certainly balance is a big issue here, but that dumbbell weighing in at what? 15.5 stones or thereabouts is going to be a tough one. Maximum time, again, 75 seconds. This is interesting. There's the first performer there, Kulaga. 4 athletes remaining in the competition, but he did not create one lift, so doesn't score.
Ervin Katona.
But Ervin Katona needs every point, despite the fact he's well up there with 22 points altogether. The Serbian, if he gets this right, will head into the final. Lalas, a superb last event on the deadlift. In third place, fighting to get in the top 2.
Ready?
Just look how big that dumbbell is. I bet most people watching this programme, if they've had the experience of lifting a dumbbell above their head with one hand, no way is it going to be anywhere near as heavy as this. This is phenomenal.
Next time. Well, the greatest I've ever seen with 95 kilos is Derek Poundstone. He did that in Ukraine in Giants Live. He managed 9 reps. I don't know if these guys are going to be as good as that. They haven't started quite as quick. Lalas just ahead here.
Well, Lalas is going extremely well. Already up to 4. Katona already 1 behind. And this is great rhythm by Lalas. Katona just struggling a wee bit there.
Down.
But look at the size of that dumbbell. I mean, 95 kilos would be a tremendous lift for most people with 2 hands.
Oh, indeed. Now, Lalas, interestingly, has swapped hands there, but he didn't quite have the strength to press it with his left. Katona sticking with his preferred left-hand side each time. Down.
Well, Lalas back on song there. He's got 7. Oh, Katona is really struggling now. Ervin Katona may have to settle for 5 as Lalas steams on.
Down. Time.
Tremendous performance there. The clock beat him in the end. But Lalas of Lithuania certainly has a big lead there. A massive 8 repetitions.
Well, he's not happy with it, but that's because he had 1 disallowed. So too Katona. It's really, in many ways, hurt Katona more. But Lalas would have equaled Poundstone's record 9. There you see Katona's misrep. Didn't quite lock the elbow. As for Lalas on the left-hand side, again, didn't lock the elbow. It was a fair call.
Travis Ortmeyer.
Well, Travis Ortmeyer is now playing catch-up behind Katona. He will not want to mess this event up for sure. Ilin hasn't really made his mark in this competition, as a lot of people expected. Down in 5th place.
Ready?
But this could be a strength of Ilin's. He did quite well, if I remember correctly, at last year's event. Now, who's going to get it up first? Oh, well, I was going to say both of them, but it was Ortmeyer who scores. Ilin gets his first lift.
Well, Ilin has such a neat technique, hasn't he? He sort of splits his legs. He's a little bit shorter than Ortmeyer, so he could catch him here. But Ortmeyer has trained this event again and again. He would just love to equal Poundstone's 9 reps.
Well, he's after a world record. He's after getting back to winning ways again, because Ervin Katona has slightly overshadowed the American in the last couple of events. 5 lifts to Ilin. And look at Ortmeyer going. He swapped sides. He's on the left arm now. And that is very useful by Ortmeier if you've got that ability.
Yeah, if you're somewhat ambidextrous and you're lifting, it's a big help. He's going for a second on his left, but he is exhausted. 8 repetitions now. He's equal to Lalas. So too is Ilin.
Well, Ilin playing catch-up. Ortmeier has equalled the world record by Derek Poundstone. Just asking how much. Ilin's catching, though. Oh, what a finish. Ilin playing catch-up. Ties for second place. 8 repetitions. He really did come on strong when it mattered most. But he couldn't hang in there with Ortmeier. Equals the best we've ever seen and wins this event. Maximum points for the American.
Well, great determination from both these guys. Great fitness as well. Ortmeier, though, swapping hands right and left, and that was the key to his success.
And there's his son, the smallest member of the Travis Ortmeier fan club.
What a gutsy performance from Travis Ortmeier, the only man to do 9 reps, and significantly Lalas will have to share the points for second place with the Ukrainian Ilin. The Texan has given himself a potentially vital 2-point cushion over Vytautas Lalas, but it's a 3-way shootout for those 2 qualifying spots.
Congratulations, Travis. Best in that event. You made it look so easy. I think you could have done a lot more.
Yeah, I could have done a few more, but you don't want to if you don't have to. You know, it's 95 kilos on the shoulder. That'll wear you out, but, you know, it's all about the training, and if you put the time in, you know, you cry in the dojo and laugh on the battlefield. I'm laughing on the battlefield today, baby. And
you are back in the game. Must feel good too.
Yeah. Definitely needed that cushion with that last event to go. So that's major points right there. Huge for me.
Katona looks favourite to progress at the moment. Find out who will accompany him into the final after the break. It may be one of the most beautiful places on Earth, but Sun City has been agonising for our world's strongest man contestants. To find out which 2 go through to the final, let's get back to Colin Bryce and Paul Dickinson.
Well, there certainly is a beautiful part of the world. And here we go with the very last event of this heat. And it will determine who goes into the final. 75 seconds, 4 barrels weighing 110 kilos. 17 stones, that is. And they've got to do it in the fastest possible time. Well, this is going to be interesting. Ervin Katona, 25 points. Ortmeier, 23.5. Lalas of Lithuania, 21.5. Any 2 from those 3 will qualify. And it was Kulaga of Poland who stepped up first. He managed only 3 barrels in just over 37 seconds. So it's all down to the remaining competitors. Ilin the first we see in 4th place altogether. And Lalas must finish in the top 2 in this loading race to have any chance at all of going through to the final.
Ready?
Well, we love seeing type finishes to World's Strongest Man. And Lalas, he means business. He's gone off very quickly, Colin.
He's gone off like a rocket here, the Lithuanian. He has to. The others will get to follow. They'll know what he does, if he does all 4, if it's a good time. So he's got to really lay down a big time. Ilin's a good running mate, though, because he's fit, Ilin.
Yeah, he certainly is. There we go. 2 barrels up each, but Lalas so far ahead. And I think running in this sand really begins to take its toll once you get onto barrels 3 and 4.
Yeah, this last barrel here, Lalas, I'm amazed how fit he is, considering he stacks so much muscle onto his frame, and this is going to be a great time.
It is, 46.71. And Lalas must be feeling quite confident of going through to the final now. Ilin, certainly the final 25% of this effort is the hardest.
15 seconds.
But it is the last event. You may as well give it everything.
Well, almost dropped it into the crowd there, but he's off. This is all about pride for Ilin. He is a very proud man, Ukraine's strongest man.
Well, the Ukraine have got a fantastic record in all power events, in track and field and in strongman as well.
Well, Ilin just snuck that one in. Lalas, though, all barrels in 46 seconds. He did everything he could possibly do there, laid it on the line. Now it's down to the other 2.
From Serbia, Ervin Katona.
Well, it's all come down to this now, and Katona, the overall leader before this event, he's got a little bit of time to work with. Ortmeyer, though, has got to go for broke if he's going to guarantee his place in the final. And Lalas will be sitting in the background, hoping, with everything crossed, his fingers, his toes, just waiting to see what happens.
Well, I keep saying how Ortmeyer might have lost too much weight, but that is going to be a big help to Ortmeyer right now. Ooh, Katona, bit of a slip there. Suddenly there's some drama here. Maybe it's Katona who'll go out.
Well, I'll tell you what, it couldn't be tighter at the top of the table. And as I said in the introduction, Lalas will be sitting, waiting to see what happens. And this guy, Katona, is going to have to get a move on.
Well, he's hardly a svelte marathon runner either, Katona. He's so heavy, you imagine he might just blow a gasket here.
Katona, he's got one more to go. Ortmeyer on the last lap. What is going to happen? It's all down to the mathematicians and the calculators to work out this one. Ortmeyer's going to win here. His time, Ortmeyer, 54.94. It's not particularly quick. And Katona there, 58.28. Can you believe it? Lalas has actually won this final event, but I don't think he's going to make it through to the final.
Well, Ortmeyer there, all 4 barrels in 54 seconds. No, it's not as quick as Lalas, but it is quick enough for him to go through, as is Katona's. Look at that, he dug in deep. Had to get it up on its end. That cost him a couple more seconds. Totally exhausted.
And the points advantage, both this guy, Katona, and Ortmeyer had at the beginning of this event have just been enough to qualify them for the World's Strongest Man final. And poor old Lalas, he must be absolutely gutted.
Travis, you probably didn't expect for it to be quite so tight coming into the last event, but how do you feel about that? It was so close just even watching the event.
You know, I just remember thinking the whole way, if I could just stay ahead of Irvin, I could get through and, you know, I'd sure myself a spot in the final. But I knew coming in that Vytautas was going to be very difficult to beat. You know, he's new, young, up-and-coming guy. I knew he'd be bringing the thunder, so I had to make mine roar a little louder.
You certainly did, and now, of course, you are through to the final of World's Strongest Man 2010. How does that feel? Congratulations.
3 for 3. Never going to fail. Mine!
Lalas victorious again, but it's that all-important second place for Travis Ortmeyer which makes all the difference. Kulaga, the only man not to complete all 4 barrels. Congratulations to Irvin Katona and Travis Ortmeyer. They can look forward to the 10-man final, but it's heartbreak for Vytautas Lalas as he misses out by a single point. Ultimately, it's sad news for Darren Sadler as his competition ends at the first event. Congratulations, though, to Irvin Katona, who's qualified for the 10-man final in impressive fashion. Joining him there will be Travis Ortmeyer, but he left his push very late indeed. Next up, it's Heat 4 and a chance for Lawrence Charlet to raise English spirits. He'll be up against, amongst others, the reigning champion Zydrunas Savickas. Can he make it through to the final? We'll find out next time. Until then, goodbye.